that quick.
Wow, that was fast.
Everything works. For now, I shouldn't have said that. I apologize.
Knock on wood.
Something is immediately just stopped working. Hello, Megan.
Hello.
Hi. Okay, so welcome to Just About Anything. It's been, I think I haven't made one of these in like a month. Took a month off, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
You're the first guest in the new little studio, whatever. Woo! Welcome to Just About Anything, where I try to get interesting people on and talk to them about just about anything.
Just about anything.
So, I don't. It's super weird about like introducing people, because sometimes I feel like people would just be better off telling people about themselves.
Yeah.
If you want to go ahead and do that, because I don't want to butcher it, because I will.
You're good. I don't know how to talk about myself, because I'm
the best part.
I've been told by many a friend that I am very socially awkward, but so that's a fun.
I feel like that's like 90% of
character trait about me. But my name is Megan Danaher, aka PeptoAbysmal. For Full Sail Armada, that's my esports org that I'm currently working in. I'm about to graduate from Creative Writing Bachelor's in a week, literally a week, and then I'm staying for my Master's in Sports Management to actually do what I want to do.
Nice.
But yeah, I like to game. I play FPSs. I play MOBAs from time to time. Just a little bit of everything. I used to play Overwatch, but now I'm the team captain of my school's Rainbow Six Siege team. So
very nice.
Very cool.
Very cool. So, like, I guess the stereotypical question, we'll get into like actual genuine stuff in a second.
Yeah, you're good.
But like, how did that thing start for you? Like the whole esports kind of scene. Like, okay,
that's such a good question, because like it happened very inconspicuously. It was literally like, I was on campus and I was like, oh, they have an esports club. They have a sports games club. And I was like, that's awesome. Yeah, it was like they do like free pizza like once a month. I was like, that sounds exactly
amazing.
What I like. Exactly. Like, you get to hang out with a bunch of people that are in a bunch of different programs doing like whatever that they want to do. And I was like, hey, that sounds really cool. And then they were doing Overwatch tryouts. And I was like, you know what? Heck it. I'll try out. I'm not good. Like I would think at the time I was like gold or like maximum plat in
That's
Overwatch. Yeah, like I was not very good at the game, but I played it a lot. Like I had it like probably like 2 weeks after launch is when I got Overwatch. But I saw that they were doing tryouts for it. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try out. I probably won't get it, but I'm just gonna go do it just because, you know what? I want to try something different. Go to the tryout. Like probably within the week, they were like, hey, you want to be on the junior varsity team? I was like, sure. And then they're like, do you want to be the team captain of the junior varsity team? I was like, sure.
Yes. Yes,
Sure.
question mark.
Yeah, and then the rest was history. Like, I was on Overwatch team for almost 2 years. Like, until like the point where I decided to move on and do Rainbow Six Siege instead, because just the game was getting a little tiring, and I was just like, I want to try something different. I knew I liked playing Rainbow Six a lot. Just like casually. I literally had never touched ranked in my entire life. Yeah. It's a stressful game, but like I was like, you know what? I'm gonna convince my general managers to like let me have this, because I proved my proving grounds was doing Overwatch and making sure that they didn't collapse under the pressure. And I was like, hey, I have a good track record. Yeah. Can I have this too? And they were like, sure, we trust you. And I was like,
yes.
So I got my Rainbow Six Siege team, and this is the first Siege team that we've had. So that's pretty pog.
That's awesome. I that game has always been like totally just out of my realm of being good at.
No.
Like every time I've tried to play Rainbow Six, it's been rough.
Yeah.
It's the game that I think I get the most tilted at.
Oh yeah.
Because all it takes is for like somebody to shoot me through like the tiniest hole in a wall, and I'm just like, all right, well, I want to play anything other than this right now. But
yeah,
did you find yourself like, how was that learning curve? Like, I guess you played it casually before.
Yeah.
So like,
so right now we're still like we're all in the infant stages of like trying to figure out how to play the game more competitively, and like the lobby settings for our actual match days very, very different. Like we have 12 total rounds, so best like whichever team gets to 7 or 8 first. So like depending on like how the win-loss ratio is going. And you'll be in that match for at least an hour. Yep. So if you're losing the first one, you're gonna have to go to the second one. If you win the second one, you're gonna have to go to a third one. We started at 8:30 last night, and with several technical difficulties, and like we had like one disconnect, some lobby rehosts, but like after everything was said and done, we finished at 12:53. I was like, oh my god, I never want to go to map 3 ever again.
See, I like games like that though. I like long games. Like there are certain MOBAs. I don't know if have you ever heard of a game called Paragon?
Yes, I have, but I've never seen like gameplay or anything for it. So
It's gone now. Like it no longer exists because Epic Games, it literally launched around the same time as Fortnite.
Yeah, I got you.
And they were like, well, Fortnite's making us $1 bajillion, and this is making us nothing. So we'll do that. But that game was kind of like that, and I was so good at that. That is the only, like, I'm apparently only good at like third person MOBAs. Like I'll be pretty decent at Smite, and I was pretty decent at that game. Not really good with the isometric stuff. But I love long matches that like can go back and forth.
Yeah, because definitely with Rainbow Six, it's the rounds themselves are like less like 2 minutes, I think. But it's just the fact that you have rotate sites, like different bomb sites, and you're rotating like objectives versus attack versus defense, and then so your round will end up being an hour long, even though it's not going to be like the same round each one. So it's like it's a fast-paced game in terms of like the round timers and stuff, but it's long form in terms of like how many rounds you have to do.
It's like multiple longer, more tactical rounds of CS:GO.
Yes.
Like it's a lot of like just, hey, I'm gonna hang out right here because this is where I'm expecting them to show up.
Yeah.
Oh, they didn't show up over here. Okay, I'll move it. Like it's a lot of that, and you know like Smite and Hi-Rez and all that. So they made a game called Rogue Company. That is new.
I've heard a lot about that.
I've been grinding the shit out of that game. That has been like, because I'm like, I want to be good at this game. Like I want to grind it out. Dr. Disrespect just apparently shouted this game out, so it might have some like traction. Like maybe people will actually play it. And it seems that like people are watching it on Twitch. There's like 20. Last I looked, it was like 26,000 viewers last night, which is not bad. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna play this game. And that game kind of has the same feel. It's way more forgiving for sure. Like the hitboxes are fine. It's just more of like the way the gunplay works in that game is just like you shot them in the head. That's like 10 more damage. It's not like it's not like you hit them in the head once, they're dead. So I don't know. So for me, I guess I have this bad habit of hopping from game to game to game to game to game. I would imagine you can't do that.
I just like I naturally don't do that. Like really? Like I know a bunch of like my guy friends. They'll be like, "Hey, what games do you have on Steam?" I'm like, this list of 7. Yeah. And they're like, "I have 573,000. Step up your gamer game." But you
suck at all of them.
like I don't have very many story games or anything like that. Like I mainly like play like online games. Like I like to play with people. Like, I know there's, like, co-op games, like co-op story games, but even then, I just prefer to play through, like, online games, because it's, like, even though the game themselves, like, it's like, a strict, like, okay, the objective is to do this, you do that, you win the round, you lose the round.
Right.
But, like, every round is different, because you're playing with different people who, when you have, like, a huge cast of characters, like, even if it's, like, Overwatch, Rainbow Six, like, there's so many different ways the game can pan out in the end, which, in turn means like just varied gameplay. Even if the maps are the same, the operators are the same, it's just the people or the element that brings the variety whenever you're playing like online FPS games, like especially like Overwatch. It's like the team, like yes, the team comp is like 2 tanks, 2 DPS, 2 supports, but you could be playing with you could be playing with like a Hammond main, and then you have a Rhine player, but then the next round it's gonna be an Orisa and a D.Va, and it's like it's gonna completely like change up how your experience of the game actually is.
Yeah, I have such a love-hate relationship with Overwatch. Like I think it's like it's such a finely tuned game. That after you play 3 matches gets boring for me. Like it
I can see that.
I guess the only reason that probably is the case is because I played it way in the beginning. Like as soon as the game came out, like I was playing. I don't think I played the beta. I might have played the beta. God, it was so long ago. But like ever since the change to like that whole 2-2-2 thing, that was kind of like the nail in the coffin for me, and I was just like, come on. But the creativity of the team comp's gone. I understand that meant that it made balancing way harder for them. So I get kind of why they did it.
Well, they do now have open queue. Like, so if you want to play competitive,
In
like
comp?
Yeah, they have competitive open queue.
What?
That was introduced, God, what was it? Like, probably, it wasn't recent. It was pretty old. I think it came out, like, early this year or end of last year, where they now have open beta. Like, not open beta. Open queue, which that means there's no role loss.
Yeah.
So you can have, so it's still one of each character. It's not, like, original comp, where you can have, like, 7 Winstons and 1 Mercy. But yeah, it's so you can have, like, the 3 DPS, 1 support, or however you want to mix it up. They do have that now.
I wonder if they'll keep that for the 2. I haven't paid much attention to 2 besides that really cool trailer that they made. Good job, Blizzard. Like, you always been good with trailers.
So good.
It was so good. I watched that thing so many times. They have such a good way of like getting music right.
Yeah.
I don't know who's ahead of that department because
They literally have like an entire cinematics where they take months with their creation of these things. Like it's absolutely insane what they can come up with and what they can do. But it's like, have you seen the new World of Warcraft shorts for the new expansion? It's the Afterlife cinematics.
So I should watch them because I know it will still be good even if I don't have any context. But I haven't played Overwatch. I haven't played WoW since Cataclysm.
Yeah, that's when I got into the game. It was like at the end of Wrath into Cataclysm. That's when I got into it.
I guess I saw the reveal trailer for the. Did they do that at BlizzCon this last year for Shadow?
Yes.
Yeah. I saw that. That was cool. I like that. I guess I should. Preface for the people that are listening audio or on YouTube after the fact. This is live, so there's chat. And sometimes we'll talk to chat. Sometimes. Not that last thing. That I love my chat because it's great. And they say stuff like that, but as funny as it is. But yeah, if you want to ask a question or anything like that, if you just put Joe in it or whatever, as long as it's highlighted, I'll see it. If it's not highlighted, I'll check every now and then, grab stuff from there. I think somebody was asking earlier about what game we're talking about. It was so far it's been Rainbow Six, Overwatch, Rogue Company, and WoW. I think that's it. But yeah, but you saying you don't play like any RPGs or anything like that? So like outside of WoW, I guess.
That's pretty much the only one. Like everyone's like, you play RuneScape? I'm like, no, I do not play RuneScape. I only have Justice Cry. I only have so many hours to waste. Yep. So
yeah, that's fair.
Like I gotta get on the grind to make sure that I'm good at my FPS games. And then I have homework, work, esports overhead org, and then I have my free time, which is as much of my time pie.
I guess you're streaming a lot during that time now.
So I've been getting into the streaming game a bit more because I already had a channel and I was like doing streaming and stuff. But
Matt, that's cool.
I was already doing the streaming before, but I decided like when I went back home to Georgia because I went back to Georgia for a week because I was turning 21. I was like, I hadn't gone home since quarantine or anything. I was like, you know what? Screw this. I want to go home. I just want to be a kid for like 1 week and not have any responsibilities, have people pay for my food. I'm going to go home, go into the arms of mommy and daddy just for a little bit. And I brought my computer with me because I know like my general managers, like they want me to like kind of like keep up with stuff. And I needed to practice with my team and stuff because we were still fresh. So I was like, I'm bringing all my stuff home.
Right.
Get home. I wanted to test my stream. Like I stream and I get 7 viewers. I'm like, ooh, what the hell? I was like,
it's like, this is how Twitch works.
Wait, so I got a lot of viewers. I was like, okay, guys, you guys seem to show up. You want to do this again? Come back the next day. It's like 10. I'm like, I was like, holy, it's happening. It's happening. Like that meme from The Office. Yeah. It's happening. and then I basically speed ran affiliate in 1 week.
Nice.
I was like, what the hell?
We did it, boys.
I was like, wow, that actually just happened. I come home and I'm like, wow, I did it. I did it, guys. It's like I kept telling myself, like, yeah, I'll start streaming someday. And then I just decided, I was like, you know what? People are here. People are coming out. They seem to be enjoying what I'm doing. So I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. And I'll just try and do it every day. Like, even if it's not like... And I do kind of find myself in the realm of, like, variety streaming. Where, like, this last Monday, I did a music stream where I played guitar and ukulele and, like, did a miniature online concert for, like, dope. An hour. And we didn't get too many people coming out for it, but the people who were there, they really, really liked it. And I was like, yeah, let's do this. We'll just have musical Mondays with Megan. Eminem. But I did that for that one day. And then I was like, the next day I did like World of Warcraft. And I was like, I just want to chill today. And then I'll stream our scrims, which are practices with R6, and then I'll like do like Among Us or something afterwards. And like I like to play like games that everyone else can like hop in on. Yeah. Like I'll
Jackbox
like,
stuff.
Yeah, Jackbox. I'll definitely be like, hey guys, you guys want to play Jackbox? You guys want to play like Among Us? Like I'm down to play with you guys, and I'll just let everyone know in chat beforehand. Like so I was like we're winding down in the competitive game of choice of that day. I'm like, hey guys, if you guys want to come play, here's my Discord link. You guys can hop in and we can get playing. And that seems to be really fun. And I have a lot of fun too because I get to like verbally get to talk with the people who I've been like hanging out with in chat and stuff. That's like good. As I've been watching me play and whatever. So it's fun.
Is always fun. I used to do a lot of those. I used to do a lot of different things with my stream. I think this is a weird, I guess, thing to bring up, but I don't think that streaming is for everyone, and I think that there are certain parts of it that are not for me, and I find myself avoiding that often. So like this kind of stuff, I love it. I love doing like the big production stuff, like if I can get like a bunch of people together and like a bunch of cameras and all that stuff. Love that.
Yeah.
What I don't love is like sitting by myself in front of a computer and streaming just the same thing over and over, because it's such a different experience. Like it also, especially like when there's no one to really bounce off of in just chat. It's such a weird so like
I totally get that.
It's just like I know I should just suck it up and just grind through that and just do that until I don't have to anymore. But like there's something about that is so just like brain numbing, and then by the time I'm done, like when I hit offline, I go, I never want to do this again.
Exactly.
And but then like two days later, I'll do a podcast, and then like I'll be like, oh cool, this is awesome, and then I'll hop on and do like a game stream. So Captain Overdose, the average streamer usually says that as long as they have freedom to play what they want, then gaming is fun. It's the people who are tied to a game and lose viewers when trying to have fun that don't enjoy it. I think there's what do you
like? So I get what that I get that like because whenever I see like the popular streamers, I literally see them being chained to a game. I would literally watch XQC play like 45 rounds of Among Us, and I was like, I would literally lose my fucking shit. I would lose it if I had to play Among Us. Like, I remember I was like watching because like he's funny to watch from time to time. Yeah. And like I like tuned we had our match yesterday, and I just kind of like left my laptop like on my bed, and then my computer's like right here. My stuff was like on the bed beside me. So I was like, every time there was like a down moment as we're like swapping maps or we had to like wait or something, like I would just like kind of like peek over. And I had started watching at like 2, and it was like 10. And he was still doing mine. I was like, I can't. I literally, I could not. That's why, like, I'm basically right now, like, as I'm building I guess it's, like, kind of how you cultivate your audience, though. It's, like, when you're starting out, you kind of have to decide, like, what you want to be. Like, if you're, like, let's say you're, like, an Overwatch pro who wants to go pro in Overwatch League, which is, like, the big kahuna for, like, Overwatch players.
You know AJ?
AJ.
Ajax?
No. My brain's really small.
Okay. I had him on. He played in Overwatch League for, I forget the team. He's gonna kill me.
It's the Lucio player, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
You have to. I'm more of like a face. And like things that people have done. Yeah. I'm horrible with names.
Yeah. Okay. He taught me a lot about like that scene, and I want to compare it with the collegiate scene.
Yeah.
But I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. But like, I feel like as you're cultivating your brand, I feel like if you lead people with the expectation of like, hey, I like to play a lot of different games, and you're sticking around not for my gameplay, but more for like just kind of hanging out with me as the person you're watching. I feel like that's more of a like, because I think you can also decide like, hey, I'm an Overwatch League person who wants to go pro in the Overwatch League, and like this is my game. I love this game. Like, I'll occasionally play some other things. Like, I'll play, like, a hype game, like Among Us or whatever. Yeah. Like, from time to time. But, like, at the end of the day, you can expect me to be coming to Overwatch and playing Overwatch. Like, there's those type of people, and then there's people who are kind of like, hey, I'm going to kind of do whatever I want. Like, I'm going to be playing Minecraft. I'll play Among Us. I'll play Rainbow Six. I'll play World of Warcraft. I'll play guitar for you. Like, and that's what you're staying for. So I think it's kind of like, as you're building your brand, you're kind of, like, making that for yourself. Like, you might go into a phase where you're playing a lot of Among Us, and then people might be like, okay, so this is an Among Us streamer, but like you're just having a phase.
Yeah.
So like, I think that's like, I get what that person's saying, but I feel like it's kind of like how you build your brand is kind of like how you can be perceived by the people that view you and how you can be looked at in the space.
Yeah,
I guess
I would agree. I just think so, and this kind of ties into Red Wolf's question. You know, it's like, what is my overall goal then? I say that overall goal?
Yeah.
I don't know. Words.
So the thing that makes it more difficult for me to have fun is the things that I would like to do, I can't do with a small channel. Like, I have to have a bigger channel to do those things.
Yeah.
So, like, I wanted to do mainly, a lot of my work is most likely going to end up on YouTube, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, because I went to school for production, editing, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
So like that's where my expertise is. The live stuff I enjoy because I like interacting with people, and I like having the conversations. And I guess I'm better off with one-on-ones than I am with a massive amount of people. But like with Twitch chat, kind of is an entity of itself, so it's kind of the same thing. Yeah, I guess for me, what I want to do, obviously, I like doing the podcast. I'm like not going to stop doing that. But I like to be able to do a just chatting stream with a bunch of different things that people still want to tune in to see. And
yeah,
I know that's very vague, but like, and by a bunch of different things, like maybe do like some React Andy shit where like I'm playing a video or something and people are like, and I'm commenting on it. Or what I really want to do, which I'm hoping to do sometime soon, is to get multiple people on and then do that, where you, instead of it's just my opinions or my thoughts on whatever I'm watching, it's a kind of a panel, which I think that would be interesting. I kind of dabbed into like politics for a little bit. That was a bad time. That was not a good time. It was very
I get that.
Like just bad headspace time. But I didn't hate it. I'm sure at some point I'll do that again. Like I just want the freedom to do whatever the hell I want to do, and hopefully people like my personality, whatever that is, and they come and watch it, whether it's Rogue Company or I don't know, talking about riots. I have no idea.
Exactly.
But yeah, I guess as far as I was talking about before, so do you pay a lot of attention to like Overwatch League or like that level of esports in whatever game that you're playing, or is it more you're super focused on like the collegiate like level? So
I heard this from, I don't know if this is a widely spoke about opinion, but I was not told not to say this out loud. Okay. But I think it's Andrew Yee, I think, is the general manager for Florida Mayhem, which that's Florida's Overwatch League team,
right?
Based out of Miami. And when we were talking to him because there's a Esports Tower runs a like scholarship program where you pay $100, you get professional coaching, and whoever wins that out, they get scholarship money. So it's like a bunch of small teams of like high school students that pay $100 to come get professional training, and then they play it out, and then the number one team to win, they get like I think like a couple $1,000s in like prize money each of them. But we had like a meeting where it was like all of the volunteer coaches and stuff got to talk with him and like have like a Q&A with him. And someone asked, he was like, what do you guys think about like collegiate talent and stuff like that? And they're like, right now we don't look at it at all because there's nothing good coming out of it. And it was like, yikes. Whoa. That kind of like threw me for a curve, because there's a college up north, Maryville. They are killing it in the Overwatch scene. Like they play TESPA, which is the Overwatch Collegiate League, but they play an OD, which is Open Division, which is the path to pro, which is like basically they are literally like a small miniature, like they are a collegiate team, but they are also a like could go pro if they wanted to, as like an entire package sort of thing. Like they're not great by any stretch. Like when you put, if like an Overwatch League team were to fight Maryville, the Overwatch League team would probably still win, but they have the chops and they are able to get better to the point at which they could make it into like Overwatch League. And I think that really just comes back down to the fact where like schools that offer scholarships and like incentives to get more players to come in are like the schools that are going to win out. And a lot of schools are starting to realize that. They're kind of being like, oh shit, this is kind of a thing. This is kind of a thing.
We invest into it.
Because it's like there's a lot of 18, 20-year-olds that are just skipping the whole college thing in general, because it's like, oh, well, I can go make some easy money by being pro because I'm already really good at this game and all I need is just sponsorship deals. But they're not really realizing that like if you don't have like a good foothold in your community, once you kind of hit the point of like your past due / past being ripe in the eyes of like the scene, then what are you going to do when they kick you out? Sort of thing. Or you lose your job off, like you lose your spot on a roster on a team, or no one wants to pick you up after that. It's like, what are you going to do after that? So I think colleges are kind of realizing there's kind of like incentive for like, hey, maybe we should invest in our collegiate program to, number one, incentivize those people to like, hey, you can come here, you can get school, you can get paid for it. Well, not paid for, but like you can get your full ride, as well as like making sure you have some type of security after you graduate, which I think a lot, and also like there's a lot of money being thrown around just on the pro scene of it. And like a lot of colleges are for profit. This is a wide brushstroke, because I've heard this from several different universities. Like this isn't just like a full sail lens. This is like an everywhere lens, where it's like they're all realizing like, oh shit, this is an emerging industry. There's a lot of money being thrown around on the pro side of things. If we can like snag some kids as they're like looking to like just skip school altogether, like even if they're not going to get a full ride, we might still be able to make some money off of them, like in terms of like tuition. So like they'll get maybe like a 75% scholarship, but they'll still be paying us something to come here, sort of thing. So I think the success of the pro scene itself is kind of trickling down. So it's not starting with collegiate, it's starting with pro scene. And it's trickling down to collegiate, where like the pro scene is incentivizing colleges to get into the game because they're able to like cast a fishing net to like catch them before they go pro. Gotcha. And then once they leave the school, they're then going to have the tools to like be able to have a future for themselves outside of the pro scene. So then they can go into the pro scene, play their career there, and then have a job after the fact.
I guess
that's at least my opinion of it.
This camera's
like
going nuts. Okay,
it's partially some. There's some fact in there from like the general manager's comments on collegiate, but I think it's still like an emerging thing, like college level. But like it's because of pro scene that college level is becoming such an important facet in the cog wheel of esports.
I guess this is, a devil's advocate kind of thing.
Yeah, here you go.
Is there any validity to the thought process of like, if you were to go a collegiate route, because you're what? You'd be like 17, 18, 19. You'd be, that's the point where you'd probably be making that call. I was going to make an argument, and then as I was thinking about it, I convinced myself out of it. The argument I was going to make was whether or not it made more sense to just focus on getting better at the thing that you're trying to do. Like, instead of like, this is like an anti-college thing, I guess, but this is bad. but instead of having such a wide frame of focus, you hyper focus on the game or the thing that you're trying to go professional, like pro at. And then the problem with that obviously would be like who's going to know you, even if you are that good. I mean, there are things like streaming, YouTube. Like there are ways for people like to get your name out there outside of a college team. I guess that's just an option. Like it's one of many options. You could do it all on your own. It's going to be way harder, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But do they set you guys up with like a path to that if you are that good, or is it more of like your stream, like your things outside of that?
We're talking about collegiate or like just straight to pro scenes?
Collegiate into pro. Like if someone was trying to make the transition from a collegiate team into a professional team.
So at that point it would be kind of like the people you know.
Okay.
So like as you're in your collegiate team, because you are going to be meeting a bunch of other teams from a bunch of other places around the world. Well, not around the world, but at least for the U.S. Because I know for TESPA and Collegiate R6, which that's the league that we're currently playing in, it's mostly schools in the United States. And what you would have to do at that point is like you just have to be networking and reaching out to people. Because I remember seeing on Twitter that they were doing like FaZe Clan. The FaZe Clan was holding tryouts for Valorant. Like I
remember that. Yeah,
there are tryouts. Like you just kind of have to keep your ear to the ground and look out for those things. Like that's going to be a hard thing to like stand out in. Like you'd have to be literally hitting every shot that God could possibly hand to you, and stuff like that. But like as well as in TESPA, like I said, there's Maryville, which is one of those schools that is so damn good that they probably could go like make their own. Like they're in OD, which is basically like the path to pro scene. Like if you network with those people, if you reach out to the higher tier teams, like even if you are on some like school, like in the middle of nowhere, like Bowling Green, like somewhere in Bowling Green, Ohio, like just like if you were just out in the middle of nowhere and you're playing on a good team, like let's say you guys were like pretty average, like maybe like out of 10 you're like a 7, maybe a 6, 8 at the best, but like that's not going to make you stand out so much as like possibly streaming. Yes, like streaming is always a good thing to like do, because at least then you have VODs and stuff that you can like show possible employers / teams like, hey, this is what I can do. But also like
with that voice.
Yeah, with that voice specifically. But also like reaching out to other teams like within your league, like reaching out to like a great thing that I've found as well is like reaching out to people who are within the business but not necessarily players. So like reaching out to coaches, general managers, like people on production crew, like just finding your way in is always super, super cool. Like I actually have like not really network, but I've seen him online and like we've played a couple of games together or whatever. But he's just really cool. It's Burger he is the content creator. He's the lead content creator for Overwatch League, Atlanta Reign. The Atlanta Reign team, and he's out of Atlanta, and I've caught him online a couple times, and I've talked to him a bit about like some stuff that he's doing. I like watch his stream every now and again, and he's like a really cool guy. But it's like if I ever wanted to like get a job in like the esports industry, like that would be like a good connection. Be like, hey, I've talked to this guy, I've learned some stuff from him, like sort of thing. Whether he could vouch for me, that's up to him. But like, like just reaching out to people who are within the industry, like not necessarily even like players, but like coaches, especially if you want to be a player in esports, coaches, general managers, stuff like that.
What is your goal? Like, are you looking to do like management?
Yeah.
Okay. I assumed that.
Yeah. Sports management is my new master, so if I didn't give it away, but I want to be. It's either talent management or project management. Project management being like the setting up of the actual event, like finding the venue, getting the people together, making sure that like we have like safety protocols, like all that fancy paperwork, legal stuff, or like talent management being on like just like boots on the ground with the actual players themselves, like working like in like Overwatch League team, like for the Atlanta Reign. Like I'd be around like the team house all the time, making sure that everyone's still good, making sure that like if someone needs to go home, if there's like an emergency, like a family emergency, or they can get where they need to be, sort of thing. Yeah, that's
pretty cool. Yeah. I've seen I don't remember her name. She is that for I think it's TSM. I forget her name though. God, I'm butchering it. Whatever. But I was watching she was a guest on a podcast, and she was talking about just that side of esports that I guess people don't really think about that much. I'm gonna get to all those follows in a little bit. Thank you so much. But yeah, like it I guess people don't think about all the other different jobs out there, and especially if you're like super hyper focused on like, I'm really good at this game, I'm gonna play this game for a living. It's like, but you also went to school for like production or editing. Like there are esports things for that. Like my I guess production and editing background, I know has opportunities for me outside of like my 9 to 5, I guess I should say. But the reason why I'm not, and I take little small gigs here and there, and I like doing that. I like the freedom that gives me. I'm a little apprehensive about hopping back into that as a full-time thing for a company. Yeah. I like the freedom of being able to be freelance in the contract work. I love that. That being said, if a good thing popped up, Lena, yeah, that's her name. Yeah, thank you. It was on I think it was the Offline TV podcast that she was on, and I was watching that. But yeah, like that seems like such a cool career path, because even outside of esports, you can do so much with that, even if you don't land something there. And even as I say that, I kind of hate saying stuff like that, because like when people have a goal, I always tell them like, just fucking do that. Yeah. Like don't think about what happens if that doesn't happen. Just fucking do that thing. But it's a good skill set to have, I guess I should say. But yeah, it's kind of cool. Captain Overdose says, I like the esports program for League of Legends where Riot Games forces each organization to have academy team that they have to pay for to establish a future. Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah,
Overwatch League used to have that, and most of the academy teams got disbanded.
Big yikes.
It was a very big yikes. Like, but there was like the Boston Academy, Atlanta Academy. Like, there was a bunch of academies which were playing in OD, but they kind of opted out of that for more of a like just because I think what the issue, because I think Blizzard kind of got stuck between a rock and a hard place with that, where they had, okay, do we let them keep having academy teams, or do we let OD be a thing, like open division, where anyone can like attempt the path to pro to like make it? Because like if you made it on the academy, like on the Atlanta Reign roster last season, we had a couple like we had like someone from Ukraine, we had a couple people from like Korea, I think, and like just we had a mixed bag of people from around the world. Right. But it kind of got to the point where it was like the next season, 3 people from the academy team got picked up by Overwatch League teams, and it kind of got to the point where it was like, okay, so what's the point of doing OD if I'm not going to make an academy team where it's basically a steak on a platter, like handing me a position on a team, whereas OD was meant to be, because like the academy teams were playing in OD, like they weren't playing in a separate league of their own.
Why not have both?
But yes, I understand that. I'm playing devil's advocate for Blizzard, because what they're thinking, and it's not like Blizzard themselves are not actually running that. I found this out from one of the graduates at Erin Eberhardt, who is now in the Hall of Fame. She's awesome, love her to death. She is a lead project management for Hearthstone esports, as well as World of Warcraft esports, StarCraft, stuff like that. I found out from her that how Blizzard runs its esports programs is that there's 2 umbrellas. There's Overwatch, and then everything else. So, and then the branch of Overwatch is not so much run by Blizzard, but more by the third-party companies that own the teams and stuff. So it's kind of, they're like, Blizzard is involved, but they're not as involved as they are with their own homegrown esports of like World of Warcraft, StarCraft, Hearthstone. So they're in their own separate umbrella. Okay. So, but my devil's advocate for the reason why academy teams got banned was because like if you didn't make an academy team to a player who was like just a one-off trying to find a team, trying to play, trying to get to the path to pro, if they didn't make an academy team, I feel like they would feel kind of hopeless. Because like, what's the point of me trying if like the people who already make those teams are already going to get all the spots that would open up? Yeah, I guess that's at least my devil's advocate, because I understand that I think both of them should have run in tandem. Yeah, like you should be able to have both things, because there were people who got like the true tragedy of the Vancouver Titans. God bless that team. They literally lost, I think, like half of their roster midway through the season. They lost their coach, like general manager. Jeez. Like they lost like a heck ton of people, and they almost picked up like an entire roster from OD.
Wow.
Like they picked up like 3 or 4 or 5 people from an OD team. Like they're just like, we need you. Come quickly. We're mid-season. We need you in here. Let's go. So like that's not to say that like academy teams, like, because at that point there was no academy teams left, so it was just like kind
they
of
didn't
like
really have a choice.
Yeah, they kind of got to like their hands were tied. They needed to get people, but like beginning of season, like from the Atlanta Reigns academy team, one went to Philadelphia Fusion, and then at least I know for a fact 2 of them made the Atlanta Reign team. So it's like I would feel personally as a person who'd be playing an OD, it's like, well, if I'm not on the academy team, then what the hell is my point of even being here? Because like they seem to have like an exponential chance over me, who's like just trying to shoot my shot.
You know what I think would probably help that along, which I don't know if it can come back. Because I don't think there's really a business there anymore. But like, I'm gonna go on a journey here. So I don't know if you played Smash Brothers at all. Like
a little bit. That scene and the way that people became popular or like professional Smash Brother players, like I like that path. Mm-hmm. That is a clear-cut path of like you do your local stuff and it's all on you. It's all on you and your ability to travel and go to events at first. And I know that kind of knocks some people out if you're like you don't have the money or means to get around. That's not good. And I think that's probably where the collegiate things and kind of the open divisions kind of help. But I really like the idea of being able to play at a local level, then go from a local level to maybe a region, then a nationals, then like you kind of get to grow, like as not necessarily as the scene grows, but like you get to grow in terms of your skill set as your competition increases. Yeah.
And I don't think that exists for team games anymore. Like there's a company that I work with every now and then, Powder Keg Games. They host like tournaments at Electronicon and at the Science Center and stuff around here. And awesome people. I love that they still exist and they still run those kind of things. But I can't think of another company. Like I don't know of any other companies that do that still. And that's huge. Like, I think that would be so... Like, I'm not good at Halo by any means, but I would sit down and play in those tournaments and, like, play against people that have been playing that game for years. Same thing with Smash Bros. I'm not good at that game either. But I loved going to those events and then meeting these professional players and, like, be like, oh, cool, you're that guy. Like, awesome. Like, I don't know how you could bring something like that back for team-based games. Like...
So, like, how in our league, for Collegiate R6, I think they're doing something kind of like that. They're breaking the thing up into divisions.
Okay.
Because I remember in TESPA, I don't know if TESPA did it for us, but I don't think they did. Where TESPA was kind of like, here's a mixed bag of people who are around your seeding. Okay. So it was TESPA for Overwatch did more of a like collegiate level like seeding of these are the people who are in your nearest like SR / ability range, whereas in Collegiate R6 we're broken up into divisions. So we're in the Southeastern Division, so we're playing against strictly teams that are going to be in the Eastern Time Zone / maybe Central, and we're playing like we played Indiana, we played Ohio, like they're technically still within our like South Division like bubble because it kind of just like stretches up and around like kind of like a big bubble around like that area of the United States, but. So like basically what that will be is that we'll play that out and then whoever kind of like tops there is going to go into playoffs. So like the top people in each of those divisions are all going to play against each other in the playoffs. And then finals, whatever, who wins. Yeah. Money. Yay.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, oh god, I missed a lot. Holy crap. Okay. Red Wolf. They did that for the first 2 years, but that was one of their changes along with switching from Twitch to YouTube. Maybe that's not the thing that you're talking about.
They did they started doing what they used to do is that they used to play all in California and then
gotcha.
Doing homestands.
Okay. So I think that's a good avenue for doing team stuff. I know there's a lot of complications when you're doing stuff over the internet. I get that. Like that adds a whole nother X factor. But I don't. Most games don't have like closed network option.
Like
anymore.
like a local.
Yeah, like a
server.
local.
Rainbow
Like
Six does.
Rainbow Six does.
I was like, as you were saying, I was like, it has a LAN option. It does.
Yeah.
It's vintage.
It's I love that. That to me, those are the games that you would play at like a internet cafe or whatever, like back in the day. And now I feel old. But
Don't show your age, dude.
no. But yeah, like I think it is doable. It's just not profitable. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's very like I don't know how you would make money doing that.
You want to know something crazy? That from a lot of casters that I watch, like the personal channel of Uber Shouts, which is my favorite caster in Overwatch League. I was listening to their channel, and I also talked to Aaron about this, and it was bonkers, this statistic. So what they used to do before, for the last 2 seasons of Overwatch League, is that all the teams would live out in California. So like Atlanta Reign would be in California. Like they're not in Atlanta. They're Atlanta Reign playing in Cali. But they'd be playing on the Overwatch campus. They had a big sound stage where they did all their like games and stuff. And the statistic that they told me, which was crazy to me, was the fact that it was cheaper for the org, for Overwatch League in general, to stop playing out of their California like studio, like the big sound studio with the seating, the LEDs, the everything. It was cheaper for them to stop doing that, but to do homestands where they were flying players around the world to different places to rent out stadiums to play in area. I was like,
how?
How is that expensive?
Yeah.
How fucking expensive was California then? I was like, what?
I mean, California is absurd.
Yeah, but I was like, it's cheaper to fly people around. What?
I think AJ mentioned that about I think at the end of his time playing before he retired, they started doing that sometimes, where they were just like, all right, well, we're just gonna go there and play there instead of like everyone meeting in one place. I guess that makes sense though.
Like, I just thought it was just like, I know
it is insane.
Probably your mental gymnastics could get you to the point where like, yeah, I can understand, but like on the first hearing of that, I was holy shit, what?
This is why like I don't, every time I think about it, I'm like, oh, where would I like to move? I'm like, oh, California just seemed pretty cool.
No,
and then like I hear stories like that, and I'm just like I'm out.
I've literally heard that for forever. Like, I used to think, I was like, oh my god, I want to go work for Blizzard. And like, I love Blizzard, but I've just heard so many horror stories. Like, if I were to work at Blizzard, I won't work at like their Houston location. I'd want to work at any of their different locations that's not the California one.
You should probably move there now. I don't know if you paid attention to like what's going on over there, but like mass
exodus.
Yeah. Everyone's in,
and that's the same thing. That's the same thing with New York. Mass exodus from New York as well.
Like I feel bad for like.
I think that's gonna. I think that's going to like. I think people are gonna start like, especially people like in government and stuff in like states like New York and California are gonna be like, maybe we should lower our taxes.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit.
Maybe our taxes, just lower them a little bit. Maybe expand our political horizons. Just maybe take into account an opinion that's not our own.
Yeah, it
might help just a little bit.
It's wild.
Because like I just hear California anything, I'm like, my eyes just roll into the back of my head, and it's like every class that I've had, they've been like, yeah, you want to go? You're going to have to, like in my TV writing class, I was like, if you want to be a TV writer, you're going to have to move out to California. You're going to have to work like at like, you're going to have 3-day jobs. You're going to have to like work on your skill on the side. I'm like, hell no.
Yeah.
No. I was like, I'm not ever doing that. That just sounds like, yes, eventually you'll, maybe, not even eventually, you might make your way into the TV writing room and get yourself a writing job. But even then, I've heard so many horror stories from my professors themselves being like, yeah, it's a cutthroat business. And I'm like, so I'll get to the point where I get there, but then people could literally vote me off the island in my first week. I'm like,
I don't want to do that.
I don't know if I want to do that. But like, there are people who like, that's their passion, and I commend them for that, because like, there's some amazing TV writers out there, amazing film script writers, actors, like that. They willed themselves into the positions that they are, but I don't think I could be one of them, because
I think the internet makes that not like, that's not the only thing you can do. Is it a thing you can do? Yes. Yeah. But I think that there are so many other viable ways to do that without killing yourself,
Yeah,
like going to California. Granted, I think the good thing that I'm happy about this whole exodus of people to Houston is like now there's 2 places.
Yeah.
And or at least there will be 2 places. I mean, Houston and Austin like have like a lot of stuff going on there already. I guess Georgia did too. Atlanta had a lot of stuff going on there too.
Like there's in California, it's like, well, if you want to live in California, you're gonna be in 2-hour traffic regardless of where you are, and especially if you're living outside the city. Yes, it might be a nominal amount cheaper, but you're gonna have to then be on the road for like 4, 5, 6 hours to get to work. It's like,
I'm good.
At what point, like, you either fork over a lung, still have like you're gonna still have horrible traffic hours, or you live like with cheaper rent but have to drive even longer. It's like there's a lose-lose situation no matter how you cut it. And that's especially like just those places where it's like the closer you are to like where, like, if you wanted to be like, hey, you know what, I'm gonna try and like go the no car route, you're still you're still gonna be on buses, trains. It's still gonna be cramped, crowded, tiring. It's just, I don't understand. Like, even if someone were to be like $1 million right now, you moved to California, but then you have to like start paying rent and stuff like that, and it's like
that's gonna be gone.
It's gonna be gone.
Yeah.
Like even if I were to like have it, be like, yeah, I'm rich. Yeah. I'd lose it the moment. Like,
I'd be freaking out the moment. Like if they handed me the $1 million and the moment I got to California, I'd be like, okay, all right, so I got this. This is how long I can live here. Okay, I gotta figure out.
I'd be planning to move back. Yeah, I'd be like, okay, so I'm gonna be here for 2 months. Yeah. This is a vacation. This is a vacation. I'm gonna be ready to head back the moment my fucking plane is like saying to be hitting the tarmac.
I wonder though how, because the fact that you have like an instructor saying like, oh, you're gonna have to do this and this and this. I'm like, I'm waiting for the moment where it becomes a norm where people are like, all right, so you need a YouTube channel. If you want to do this thing, you might need to invest in Twitch. Like, check out all this stuff. You have to be doing this stuff now. You probably should have been doing it before you got here to the campus. It's kind of wild that you weren't. But whatever. Now that you're here, you got to do this stuff, and I think that's coming. Yeah, because
like a lot of my teachers that I had, because like again, I am the outlier when it comes to the Full Sail experience, because I did creative writing. Like everyone else is doing film, video games, animation. Like they're doing stuff that's like strictly you have to have a really big portfolio. Which, don't get me wrong, creative writing you need a portfolio, but like it's different from the rest of them, because like film you need to actually have filmed projects, whereas creative writing it's like, okay, I have the script. Maybe I have like a film student who took my script and filmed something with it, and so that can be in my portfolio as well, like the execution of it. But like, aside from like just having strictly written material, there's not really much else that you can convey your skill with other than just like pieces of paper. Yeah. So it's like my experience is very different, but like I have heard like from several of my instructors and stuff where it's like getting like publishing, like so, like I've heard so many things about self-publishing is like it's good, but it can also turn off employers. So it's also like that Spider-Man meme of like pointing at each other. So it's like, should I publish or should I not publish? Like, should I like do this or should I do that? And it's
what about that turns employers away from you?
So on the website that we had to turn in our assignment, I think it's called Smashwords. So I do have one self.
It's called what? Sorry,
Smashwords.
Okay.
SMASH.
There's a Super Smash Brothers place called Smashboards, and I was just like, why? Why are you publishing your work there?
Yeah, but we had to publish an ebook on Smashwords as part of our publishing class. So I was like, cool, whatever. On that website, if you just go to the homepage, for like one of the first stories you could find is probably a story about I think we were looking at it. It's a self-published story about like a vampire werewolf, like rape fetish story.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
Like on the homepage. Yeah. On the homepage. And it's like, so like, yes, your work can be really, really good, but you're also side by side. You're side by side next to some 40-year-old woman who probably has 3 kids and a really sad life, and decides to publish a book that she's selling for 25 cents and has 17 of them that are all less than 500 words. So, like, yes, you're self-publishing, but, like, sometimes an employer will just see, like, oh, it's to that website, and they haven't gotten any buys, and it's next to those things.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to... It's like, yeah, like, they might read it. Like, I think it's just kind of, like, based on the employer. Like, someone might be like, okay, give her the benefit of the doubt. She's self-publishing, and she's trying to get her name out there some more. read the book. They read the book, they really like it. They give you an interview. But there's other times where an employer will just see like smash words, self-pub, and be like, no. And that's why they were like really hard on like pushing like to always submit your work to journals. That sounds like so scientific, like submit your work to scientific journals. But no, like just to like creative writing journals and stuff like that. But like I've just throughout the program, I just from like how my instructor, like maybe I just got the wrong impression. That's like because it could have just been me, but like I think it also could come from a place of me not being 100% passionate about creative writing anymore. But like they'd be telling me about, because like a lot of our professors in that school are like they're ex professionals or still professionals in the industry, like still honing their craft and still.
My brother graduated from there, so I'm kind of yeah.
So like a lot of the professors are professionals and they have a really good track record and stuff. But like I remember just like sitting in classes and them talking about like their writing experiences and like the way they're getting jobs and like they were talking about the memories fondly, but all I was hearing was the negatives and them just being like, yeah, I just got constantly shit on. People were always harassing me. Like, I never got any work. I live by myself in an apartment. Like, I have great writing creds. I used to work with the people that did, like, the Blair Witch Project, but, like...
I didn't have lunch during that entire time.
For every good thing that happened, there was, like, 7 bad things, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, maybe I'm just hearing things wrong, but, like, that just does not seem like the life for me. Like, I don't... Like, don't get me wrong. I will work my ass off no matter where I go. Yeah. Like I've already been grinding so hard that I have no free time left to waste on WoW. But like I don't want to be doing something that I'm not 100% passionate about, you know?
Yeah.
Like because they were just talking about all this creative writing stuff and I'm like, that sounds fucking horrible. I don't want to lose sleep and be starving constantly eating ramen just so I can get a chance to be in the writing room.
The thing is I've talked with a couple of people on here about like I guess creative writing before. Actually, I never really thought like, oh yeah, like that is also like there was a guy that I don't think he illustrated, but he wrote like some comic books that I've had on here. And now that I think about it, I'm like, oh yeah, that probably wasn't a pleasant time. Like, and even just getting something like that published, even as something as small as like a comic book, I imagine that's hell.
Yeah.
That being said, I still like I've had in my head like this is super cringy, but like I have like a little book that I would write bits of this story down in, like that I kind of just had in my head, and like set pieces, like character, like different little things like that. And the idea of that being put out somewhere that people can read it, that seems cool. The idea of what I would have to do to get a bunch of people reading it, that does not seem cool. That being said, I think there is a way that I could do it that wouldn't suck. And I think that's the beauty of YouTube and Twitch. Is because as much as I don't like the act of doing it, but I think the only reason I don't like the act of doing it is just because my channel's small. Once my channel gets bigger, I think I'll kind of fall into it. But I've thought long about like, could I do like a writing room session, stream it? Like that sounds like a really fun time. Like I think there are ways to do it with cameras and microphones now that like would make that process enjoyable. And I don't know the details about like self-publishing and all that stuff, but I feel like regardless of the consequences, I would prefer to just do that. I hate having to conform to someone else's like thing about any artistic work. That's part of the reason why I don't like doing like the company production stuff, because it's like, all right, bud, get on that camera. You sit there and you aim it, and this is exactly what we want, uniform every time. And I was like, well, I want to do something cool with it. Or like, can I do something cool with it in post? And they're like, no, give us what we want. We pay you.
That's why I'm really excited about esports right now, because esports is still an emergent industry that no one knows what the fuck is going on. And so everyone's trying new stuff constantly.
Yeah.
Like they're constantly like trying new things. Like they're trying to like break the wheel like because like it's competing with normal sports.
Yeah.
You're competing.
It's literally
with
on
the,
ESPN.
You're competing with normal sports, so they're literally doing everything in their power to just break the wheel as many ways as they can, like make it a square, make it a triangle, that's why I like it so much. It's like there's so many people who are just like they want it to be amazing, and they're just getting artistic with it. They're like getting fun with it. They're getting funky with it. Like it's such an amazing industry because I think like whenever the best time to get into an industry is as it's growing.
Yeah.
Technology was like the big one in the 90s, like in the 80s, like when things were starting to really kick off. Like just the beginnings of things are always like the best time to get in because like the wheel will be invented one day for esports.
Yeah.
It's not
inevitable.
It's not if, it's when.
Yeah.
For sure.
It is inevitable. Just like Mike was telling me about my channel. You're right. Wait.
I saw that. I was like, oh yay.
Yeah.
Like the wheel will be invented, but you can be a part of like having your bit of your vision imprinted on that wheel somewhere.
Yeah.
It's a patchwork wheel.
I think I've just unfortunately when it comes to games, I pick the worst games. I pick the absolute garbage, like just the unlucky. Like every game that I get like super into, it dies immediately. Like
Don't play Rainbow Six.
Yeah, I'm not gonna trust me. You're fine. I'm not gonna touch that game at all. Like I Ghost Recon, I love that game, and they were like just talking about like making like a like competitive scene. I'm like, this is it. And then they're like, we'll change this thing that no one complained about, and we're not changing it back. And we're just like, but people are leaving. Your player base is hemorrhaging. Nope, we're not changing. I'm like, cool. Guess the game's dead. Got it. Cool. Same thing happened with Paragon. Like. Right now, I'm banking on Dr. Disrespect. I know.
I've heard a lot of really good things about Rogue Company.
Yeah, like
I don't think it's like I don't know if it's gonna be like esports level good, but I definitely think that it's going to have staying power.
Hi-Rez is pretty good about making some sort of competitive scene for their games. Like Paladins is still around somehow. That game still has people paying into tournaments and whatnot.
Yeah.
Captain Overdose. If you're interested in sports management, you should follow or watch Trisha's interviews. She's the CEO of FlightQuest, and she was a former StarCraft pro. She talks a lot about the ins and outs of her progress from pro to streamer to manager, and now the CEO of FlightQuest, which had no brand recognition for multiple years until she joined, and now being a top team in North America. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I had not heard of her. Cosmic Chaos. Okay, no, that's not a... Oh, no. Wait, this is the best mod ever. Like, so he's just like ready to like whack-a-mole people. But yeah, I just think that because I think that my taste in games is super, it's all over the place, man. And that's both, it's a great thing, I think, probably for the people that watch my channel because they see a bunch of stuff like that they've never played that Quantum League game. No one knows what that is now because it died immediately. Oh, wait, ignored which comment? I thought my life and everything about it is a run-on sentence. Okay. Oh yeah. No. So I know Chaos and Coleman. They've have they keep a log of who wins in their StarCraft matches, and I think it's absurdly skewed. I don't remember who it's complete like ridiculously skewed to. It's okay, yeah. Well, I knew one of them was just like obliterating the other.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just like new stuff. So whenever I see a game that I've never seen before, I'm immediately attracted to it, and that's just. Unfortunately, that means that I end up playing a lot of games that no one hears about, so they die, or like. There's some kind of funky mechanic or the company didn't have enough money to invest into it or whatever. Like there's always something, but every now and then you find those gems. Like I got into Smite super early and I probably could have competed in that game at one point. I took too long of a break away from it now that I'd have to relearn the game like altogether to like get to the same level of play that I had before. But that game I really enjoyed. I'm hoping Rogue Company does something. I really want it to.
I think it is.
Really
I've heard a lot of good things.
Yeah, I don't know. Have you played it at all or
no? I haven't seen anything about it. All I know is that we have a couple people in Armada that just keep like bringing it up all the time, and like I've heard about stuff in it in like media and stuff, just being like, hey, this game's getting pretty cool. I'm like, yeah, I believe you. I just don't have enough time to like delve into more games than I already have. Unfortunately.
I guess I'm not gonna stop playing it because there was a lot of like uproar about how buggy it was at first, but it's cleaned up now, so it's definitely fun to continue playing.
They're learning. Like,
it's new.
It's new.
Yeah.
You always got to go through the beta tests. That's what beta tests are for. Crazy.
Yeah, I don't know if I like the way that they're doing the game is Hi-Res does this, and maybe you can give me more insight into why the company does this, but like this whole like closed beta for this absurdly long time, but I can go onto certain websites that I will not name and spend 10 cents, get the key, and then play the game. Like, it's not closed. Anyone can play it. You're just making people jump through hoops to get it. And I think that's weird. I don't understand. Like,
because I guess it's just to build hype around it, because that's what Valorant did. They did closed beta where you had to get beta keys from watching streams, and that would build hype around it and stuff like that. So I think, like, I feel like if they had just kind of done it in like the same vein of like doing stream keys through streams, it may have been a bit better.
They're doing both. Yeah, they have the Twitch drop thing too, and I'm just like, just release the game's basically in like open beta, but it's not. It's just it's still closed beta, but like I don't understand the reason behind it. I don't know.
Mystery.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I've missed a lot. Successfully derailed Joe's podcast. Our work here is done. Nice. So you are more for indie games and ones that more for indie games and ones that have big backers. Don't have big backers. I think it's not even that I focus for those. It's more of like, I'll take Quantum League, for instance. No one knows what that is. You can look it up if you want to. Game it was a good idea, but they did a terrible job marketing it. But it was essentially an FPS. Best way I can explain it's an FPS where the main mechanic was time. So like you would play one round and you go out and do things, and then the next round, a clone of yourself would do exactly what you did in round one, and then you now control clone number two. And so if they killed clone number one, Jesus Christ. Okay. This is why the game was so hard to market, because it's weirdly complicated. But like, you had clone number one in round one. You run out, you shoot stuff, you try to kill the enemy, and then get on essentially King of the Hill point. If you get killed, there are like respawn things that you can do, but the game continues to record all of your actions, and then the round ends. And then when the round ends, it reverses time, you make a new clone of yourself, and now the first clone of yourself does exactly what you did.
You're trying to beat yourself.
You're trying to keep yourself alive, essentially, because they're also doing the same thing. Oh. So, like, if, say, for instance, the round is 5 minutes, or they're not that long. The round's like a minute long. So, say a minute long. 30 seconds in, your opponent killed you, but it's still recording what you're doing after you died. Like, there's a little ghost of yourself running around doing stuff. If you stopped your first self from dying in the second round, it will continue doing all that stuff. Oh, so that was the premise. And you went there and you did that. And I was like, this game is amazing. I've never seen anything like this. I want to play this game. And I got super into it. And then I forget the name of the company that produced it, but they essentially what they did was their marketing that they thought was good enough was, hey, this is an FPS. What if we got our sponsored streamers to be people that played RuneScape and I don't remember what the other lady. There was like an old lady that was one of the sponsored players for it, and she I think she played like some MMO or something. I was like, why would you do that? Like, I don't understand why they did that. And then the game just like died. So, but yeah, that's my taste. Random games that are introducing some kind of new mechanic. But yeah, I feel like that was a long segment of me just reading about games, but let's see here. I can just imagine Joe's reaction while streaming. That's so dumb. that is a lot of me streaming. That line right there, exactly.
Very dumb.
I don't know if you. I mean, we don't have to continue going. We've kind of reached the end of what what you have. I don't know if you have questions for me or like anything like that. But
have you improved your commander deck?
no. No.
Unlucky.
Oh my god. So like I
need a chapstick. My lips are dry. But I'm good now.
I have a love-hate relationship with a lot of things. I just realized that. Magic is one of them. It's super weird to talk about that sometimes on stream because I don't talk about it that often. I don't talk about like card games. Every now and then I'll stream like Arena, but that's about it. Mm-hmm. I like Commander. Commander is fun, but I have to make sure I'm playing with the right people because when you don't play with the right people, it's not fun. It's not fun at all. It's the worst experience.
Elaborate. What is right like, people versus wrong people?
So, one of them was in chat. Not a wrong person, but do I have a question? Can you show us the left arm? I hope it says chaos. You've seen my tattoos already. Anyway, so honestly, the decks just need to be like comparable. Not in terms of like, oh, you're playing a green deck, I'm playing a green deck.
Like power level.
Yeah, like the power levels have to be like somewhat balanced. Otherwise, it immediately becomes like, oh, cool, man. Yeah, you summoned Galta on turn 2 for the 16th time. You're so cool, man. I can't believe you did. Your deck's awesome, man. Like, it's like, I hate that. That I hate. But
that's why I always like, whenever I sit down, I'm always like, what's the power level?
Yeah.
Like, what's the power level?
Yeah.
And they do have, like, there is, a lot of people have kind of, like, defined power level, like, being, like, are you gonna, is your decks, like, basically how they level grade is basically what turn are you going to win on. Like, if you're like late game, like your deck really doesn't like do much until like you finally get all your pieces set up. Like you have like the perfect domino set up. Like you're kind of like, oh, let me before I even get there.
Yeah.
Like you might have like your jank decks where it's literally like I'm making a Game of Thrones themed deck where you're just like, you're trying to like theme a deck around like something like it's like, oh, I'm making a Lord of the Rings deck, so like I have dwarves, like Kin, like a bunch of like different things. So the goal isn't really to win; it's mainly just have a flavor full time. Then you have like 2, 3, 4 where it's like, well, depending on like you might have some good cards in there, but they don't really synergize very well. You pretty much play to like have a really big board state and then be like swinging for lethal or playing one big spell that costs literally 47 mana, like Deathless, like where X is literally 48, and you're like, I got you. Deathless, I killed you. You lose X life and I gain X life. Haha, you die. Like those, and then you'll have like decks where it's like median, where you have some synergies where you can like combo a little bit, but it's not really going to be like a game-winning combo. Yeah. Then you get like towards the higher echelon of like 7 and 8, where it's like, okay, so we got combos going on. They're not huge on the deck. I can't get them out instantly, but I could probably win within like the first 5 turns. Yeah. And then there's like 8, 9, and 10 where it's like my goal is to win as fast as humanly fucking possible. Get out of my way. I'm a freight train coming through.
That is unfortunately. So I stopped playing Commander around World Wake when I was in college, and then I just started playing Standard and like Limited. And that was basically my experience with Magic for this entire time. I only recently got into Commander again, and I was just like, okay, all right, all these sets are out. All right, what is people? Okay, yeah, she makes how much mana? All right, fine, I guess, yeah, man, dude. Like it's a lot of that for right now. I sold a lot of my stuff because I was like, I'm not fucking playing this shit. And then now, as the new Zendikar set came out, I'm like, that looks pretty cool. I want to try.
You're like, oh shit.
I want to build something with that. But unfortunately, that's the bad mindset to have with Commander. What if depending on the people you're playing with, if you're playing with a bunch of people that like who gives a shit, like you just play whatever, then you sure go nuts. But the people that I would probably play with don't play that way. Like it's like
that's why I always make several decks. Like I have several power levels in terms of like the decks that I have. Like my Rada deck, that's not like a combo I win on the first 2 turns. I think it's like a solid 7, like in terms of power level, because I have a lot of really good creatures. I spent a lot of money on it. Like I made sure that, because I had gotten into the mindset of making a bunch of budget decks. Yeah. But I got to a point where I was sitting at tables and I was just getting my ass kicked every time. It's like, I want to make a deck where I try really hard to like get a bunch of pieces together So like my 7-8 level power deck is like my Rada, Heart of Keld, the new Rada, which is awesome. My next one right below that is going to be my Pure and Toothy deck, which basically my goal is to draw my deck as fast as humanly possible, like Flicker Toothy, draw everything. Like a side effect is I can swing for lethal sometimes, like if I get like the right cards or if someone just doesn't have a lot of creatures or whatever, but that's not my goal. It's mainly like Jace the Mind Sculptor, Thassa's Oracle, like just playing solitaire on your side of the board, not really interfering with anyone, having counter spells for protecting my stuff. Like if anyone else is, I'm just like doing like the cat, like ooh. Like, if people start messing with each other, but I'm just sitting there like in Simic, I'm like +1/+1 counters, go. And then I actually built this one recently because I kind of wanted to do more like a thought experiment, pretty much, where I made a Ailey Eternal Pilgrim with Lurrus Companion deck. So it's not super good. There was a deck list version where it was like getting like a bunch of really expensive cards and stuff like that, but I made like a pretty relatively budget version where I was like all of my permanents are 2 CMC or less. Like all my creatures, all of my like artifacts, enchantments, and stuff like that. And it's really fun because it has the main theme is like recursion and like playing a bunch of little guys, aristocrats, sacrifice, because you have like Zulaport, Cutthroat, Blood Artist, things like that to kind of like slowly drain everyone from the table. And then keeping Lurrus up, because like there's a bunch of cards for strictly Lurrus recursion. Like there's like the Kaya's Ghost forms of the world and stuff like that. And like you can play Kaya's Ghost form once you get Lurrus back. So it's like you have like a small loop right there. But just like protecting him because he can pretty much fuel your deck. So like if you lose a key piece, you can bring him back with Lurrus's ability. I know I've heard about him being a Bane in Standard, and I'm just like, we don't know her. What's Standard? We don't know her. Like I got into Magic for Throne of Eldraine, and I was like, I was spending so much money on just buying cards because I was like, this deck pretty, this set pretty.
It's like, is that supposed to be the Golden Goose? Or
yeah, I was like,
it's like, oh,
I loved it. Like I saw the art frames that they had as well for some of the cards, and I was just like, this is literally
what they call them, storybook art, whatever. Fairy tale.
Yeah, it was like the fairy tale frames, but it was really, really pretty, and I was just like, I'm sold. And then they said they were doing Brawl decks. I was like, that dragon one though. That dragon one though. And that was the first Brawl. I have since bought all of them. I have bought every Brawl deck. I have bought 2 VIP fat packs. I bought a bundle. I bought at least a box. If not 2. I bought a hell of a ton of packs. Like that was like my set where I just kind of like I went stir crazy. I went buck wild. And like when I got my Brawl set, I convinced all my friends. I was like, "Hey, buy a Brawl deck with me. Let's play Brawl. Let's play Brawl." And then I was like, "Wait, so this is basically just Tiny Commander?"
Yeah, yes.
And then I was like, "Ooh, you know what I'm gonna do?
40 more cards.
I'm gonna make Kender the Return King." Also a commander from the Throne.
Yeah.
And I was like, I made a politics deck. I was like, my goal is just to have fun. And like then like after I played it first couple times, I'm like, oh, I caught the bug. I caught the commander bug. Let's go.
Man, I think after Commander Legends comes out, I'll probably be like hopping right back on that train because I'm very curious to see. I want more freedom in building a good deck, and I think all these partners are going to make that a thing.
Yeah, so like what is it, like 53?
Yeah,
or
some
something?
absurd amount. And I'm just like, so I can just play whatever I want now. Cool. Like, and I'm curious as to what if there's going to be like. Obviously, there will be a meta from that, but I'm curious as to what those partners actually end up doing because a lot of times partners end up being trash on their own.
Yeah.
Like, so I hopefully there's a good one.
I think like what I liked about Commander versus any format, which I think it also comes from the same place of like you having like a meta in your friend group that you play with. Whereas like I'll just go to an LGS and I'll just like sit down and be like, hey, is there anyone who's playing Commander here? Yeah. And then they're like, me. And what I like about Commander is just you sit down at a table, someone throws their playmat, plops their commander down, and you have no fucking idea what it's going to be because most of the time people aren't playing meta, try hard, super hard decks. And like I've seen like Phage the Untouchable. I've seen I've seen everything. Like, anything you could possibly see, I've seen it, and I love it. I love every minute of it. And like even if I'm getting my ass kicked, I'm just like, I don't think this happens. Like I don't think like there's as much variety in any other format as there is in Commander. Like,
absolutely,
because you're able to pull from the entire lexicon of like Magic's history.
Maybe vintage,
like,
or like
maybe,
like
because like just a format where you're able to just pull like literally from like eternal, like just like an eternally large amount of cards that is available to like a proprietor of Magic products. Like you have access to literally everything except for the ban list, of course, but like. There's so many cards in Magic, and Commander just lets you have access to all of them.
Have you ever played like a cube?
I have not. I've heard a lot of people. I've watched people play Cube. Like
that's my
like
shit.
like that's fun.
It's so much fun. I love it. Anytime like I remember, you remember Xander, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like, this was like his last birthday party before like him moving, and he was just like, "Hey, you guys want to go get like drinks and like play my cube?" I'm like, "Yes."
Yes,
I will be there for that. I was gonna be there anyway, but yes, like God, I think that I may do something like that and just build a cube because God, is that fun? And I love limited too. I will say this newest set limited is kind of rough, but it could just be because it's new and I haven't figured it out yet. But that for now, that's still my favorite type of Magic. The only reason I'm playing Standard now is because it's memeable right now. And so have you seen any of the stuff in the new set?
No.
Okay.
Like not really.
This is fair. Remember Field of the Dead, right? They printed that on a creature, and I love it. I broke Arena. Like I crashed the game. I had my God. I think I had like almost 1,600 triggers on a stack. And it just kept like trying its best, and then it would freeze, and then it'd go through a couple hundred, and then it'd stop, and then the last time it just like shut the entire thing. And I was like, I win. I don't like.
I don't care. I win.
I did end up winning that game somehow. I'm assuming my opponent got tired of waiting and they just forfeited. But like, I love memeable formats, and we have one right now, and it's great.
Yeah, like I remember getting Uro in my pre-release kit for Theros, and I've just like held on to it. And I'm like, I just keep every once in a while, I'll just check on cool stuff for TCG's website, and I just see the price slightly go up, and I'm like,
now?
When's it gonna be banned?
It might be this Monday.
Yeah, like it's probably gonna get banned, but like,
well, Wizards said they're banning something Monday.
Yeah,
so
because like literally Uro's ability is like whenever it enters battlefield or attacks. Gain 3 life, draw a card, play land. It's like, holy shit, what? What the hell?
For how much? For nothing? Okay,
like,
for 3 mana? Sure.
Yeah, like exiling a couple cards, and I'm like, yeah, I'll just get rid of my cracked fetch lands.
Yeah, that's the meta.
Buy
right now.
fetch land. Don't miss you.
It's such a God. I don't want them to get rid of it because it's a very integral part of the deck that I'm playing right now. But if they did, I'd be like, all right, sure, like fine.
Yeah, it's literally hilarious to me. Like whenever I see a card, it's like I know it's good, but then like I just look at how much people are paying for it. I'm like, holy shit! Like this is why I couldn't get into Standard because like this is the same issue I have with Pokemon, and that's kind of why I quit Pokemon because like I had a lot of fun with Whimsicott. Whimsicott GX. I don't know if you know what that card does, but it literally says had an ability on it where it said every time you were to take damage, you flip a coin. If you hit heads, you don't take any damage at all. So it's literally like just a shield on your front line. And like the closest I ever got to winning a tournament was with my Whimsicott deck. It was just fun. It was stupid. It was just lighthearted. It was fairy type. Like it was just, I sat down, I had fun. And like I like to have fun whenever I'm playing my card games. But I remember being at the LGS cool stuff at Waterford and I'm beating people. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm actually doing it, guys. I'm actually winning. This is crazy. I get down to the last guy. He's playing fucking Charizard and Reshiram. And I'm like, okay, like, we got this. I believe it. And he's playing the stadium that says abilities aren't active. Yeah. And I could not take the onslaught of Charizard Reshiram as it face tanked me. And then rotation hit like a month or two after that, and like half of my stuff that was in my Whimsicott deck got rotated, and I was like,
and
now they don't even have fairy type anymore. I'm like, there's no point in playing the game.
I almost want to just tell people, I'm like, anytime they're like just about getting in, there's like even if there's not a rotation like within 6 months, I'm like, just wait, man. Like I don't want you to invest all that, and then like half of your shit's gone, or like it's worth a penny now. Like it sucks.
Like that's like the one like that's what I like about Commander, because like at the end of the day, it's not like because yes, there are like if you go to like a Magic Fest or whatever, you're gonna have tournaments and stuff for Commander, and you're gonna be playing against people who are trying hard. But at the end of the day, your Commander deck is mainly it's a fun format. Like most of the time, there's not anything for winning. Like I know it at my local campus cards and games at when they were holding Commander Nights, basically what you would get is a free pack if you won. Yeah. It's not like you weren't winning like the lottery if you won, and like you might get something good out of your pack, but like who's to say that? Like, yes, no, maybe so, maybe.
But it's like you probably pay like $1. Like
and no, there's no tournament entry.
It's like who cares what you get out of it?
Yeah, you got a free pack, but it's like. That's what I like about Commander. It's like, there are going to be times there's going to be tryhards that just want to kick ass because they want to kick ass and take names just because that's how they are and they don't know what fun is. But most of the time, people you're playing with, like, they're just playing to have fun, and you're able to pull from so much of the history of Magic. And, like, even, like, yes, there are going to be some really expensive Commander cards. Like, don't get me wrong, I've spent a lot of money on Commander cards. Yeah. But... like, the only threat to you is not rotation, but banning, and most of the time, most of the pieces you're going to have are not going to be banned.
Yeah.
Like,
that is my favorite thing of Commander, if, like, playing a card and everybody's like, what is that? I love that. That is
like, can I see that?
Yeah.
It's not even a whiteboard. It's like blackboard, like a tiny font with like the T symbol.
Yeah.
And you're like,
what is this?
What is this?
I think I did that the last time I played. There's a card, I think it's called like Ward of Bones.
Yeah. I think I've heard of that one. I don't remember what it does, but
it's like
sounds familiar.
You can't your opponents are restricted to essentially match the same amount of lands, enchantments, creatures that you have. So like if you only have 2, that's all they got. And I was playing a bunch of mana rocks, so like they couldn't play lands, and I shut down some lands. I remember playing that card, and everybody was like, "What the fuck is that?" They're like, "Let me read this," and I was like, "Yay!" I
need to look up a card because I made for funsies, like because it was literally a budget Zur the Enchanter deck, and I wanted to see like how mad I can make people. I think it was Winds of. No, this is not it.
What does it do?
It's I can't. That's what I need to remember because it was a budget deck tech from Commander's Quarters. They did it through Tolarian Academy's YouTube channel.
Okay.
But it was the golden pig of that deck, and here we go. Let's look at the deck list. I just want to look at the deck list, please. It was... Okay, maybe I can't...
It's fine.
I need to know, because like it was like... When I saw the card, I was like, holy shit, wait, what? What does that card do? Excuse me? Like, because it was a mono black card. It wasn't an enchantment. I think it was an enchantment. It was an enchantment because it was part of. I'm seeing if I can. It'll pop up for me, but I think it basically said like every time like someone plays a spell, you get to destroy a land. Like it was like,
what?
And it was like when I went to go buy the card, it was 25 cents. I was like,
I do love finding those. Those are really fun. You're like,
I need to know what the actual text says because it'll make me cry if I can't find out. Of course, it's not going to work.
Okay.
Okay, I give up.
Let me see here. Oh, I just realized that name is great. I didn't realize what his name was. Time to get wet 69. I'm just going to call you Matt because I know who you are. He played in that cube that we played in before Xander had left. You found it? What was it?
Yes. It's called Desolation. At the end of each turn, each player who tapped a land for mana during that turn sacrifices a land. If a plains is tapped this way, it deals 2 damage to... Basically, so what it says is, like, if you play a spell at all while this is on the battlefield, you have to get rid of a land.
Wow.
It's gone.
Ooh, you could couple that with that new card. There's this thing called, like, something Conundrum. It's like a 2-drop enchantment. It's blue. But it's like, if an opponent plays a second land for their turn, they have to bounce a land back to their hand.
Yeah, and there's mana? That's not Mana Drain. It was literally the one right before I saw that in the bleh, I can't talk.
Bleh.
Where is it? Mana Breach. Yeah, whenever a player plays a spell, it returns a land to their hand. Yeah. So, like, just play all 3 of those at once. It's like what are you gonna do about it? Nothing. That's what I thought.
Just play a bunch of like deafening silence, just like the most obnoxious cards.
Yeah,
it's like you can't play.
I played that
all
deck,
the curses.
And I remember playing against I think it was like Jonathan at the time. Ali played it. He was like, "Are you playing your Zerd deck?" I'm like, like I also have a Zozu the Punisher deck, and just that game goes by so fast. Like, oh my god, it's like every time you play a land, two damage, you take it.
That might be something fun to do like a commander stream sometime. I have like
you have the table.
I definitely have the table for it.
I was like, you just put a camera right there.
I have like in that bag over there is like a metal pole setup thing that goes over, and I can aim cameras down, so it would be perfect for it. Might be something I do in the future.
Got the table for it, dude.
I should do it. I should do that sometimes. The lighting situation is what's going to. I almost want to just throw away everything else in my like living room area and just have this be the center and just like have everything centered around it. Be like, well, I can watch TV. But no one uses that fucking TV. So like,
take the TV in your room.
It's literally like Smash Brothers .tv. That's the only reason it exists. Like
Smash Brothers .tv.
That's no one else uses it outside of the .exe. But I'm gonna do some quick rambling of all of our followers here, and then we can kind of round this up. Jesus, okay, hold on. All right, relax. I hate this thing. All right, it just went on its own. Cool. Red Wolf. Jesus.
Kolobolokin.
Sharpened X. It's is it?
It's Takasu.
It's Takasu. Thank you all for the follow. Appreciate it. Try to do this once a week. Usually every Saturday. Every now and then I have to adjust my schedule so that I end up doing it on a different day, but it's usually on every Saturday. Red Wolf asks if you could make a dream game, what would it be?
Not ready for that one, were you?
No. No, I wasn't. This is where like I keep saying, okay, I'm just gonna say some names of games. If you know it, you know it. If you don't, you don't. There's this game called Kingdom Under Fire. One of my favorite games. It's really dope. It's like what Dynasty Warriors should have been instead of just this trash hack and slash thing. Just get a bunch of people that hate Dynasty Warriors. Wait for Megan to be like, I love Dynasty Warriors.
No,
I grew up with.
I literally have like I said, I have like a very small lexicon of games, and those are it.
But it's basically like an action strategic unit game thing. I don't know how else to describe it. But strategy, yeah. But I something along those lines, but in a competitive space, like something that would be like round oriented with that kind of mechanic. I like strategy stuff, but I don't like boring strategy stuff. I don't know how else to say it. Something like that. Now that I've had time to fumble with that, I'm throwing that question at you. So you can't. You've had all the time in the world now.
Like, okay, so I really, really, really like. So if we're talking about, I'm going to say like my dream FPS game is basically what Siege is already. Like, because like basically what they've been doing, and I'm really proud of them. They're finally getting there. Good job, Ubisoft. But they released a game, I think, 2015? Like
Siege?
Yeah.
Yeah, Siege. I'm pretty sure it was around there.
It was old. Early 10s, but like 2015. But like instead of everyone's like, why don't they just release Rainbow Six Siege 2? I'm like, I'm glad they haven't, because it's basically what's happening with Overwatch right now with Overwatch 2 is that like the base game is getting completely ignored right now. Like they're getting mainly cosmetics and cosmetic themed events, and there's no truly new content other than maybe a few hero drops here and there, max, and then like skins.
Yeah,
that's all Overwatch is getting, and everyone's leaving the game, or like at least early in the Overwatch League season, there were so many people who were quitting the game, they were leaving, and just because there's not enough reasons for people to stick around, and then there's blaring issues that are like blatant issues that are like still in the game that aren't being addressed because all the development and design stuff is being focused on the new game. And it's like, yes, I'm pretty sure as soon as the new game hits and like all the new pretty graphics are out and like the new game modes and all that stuff comes to fruition, you're not going to have anyone left to play your game, or you're going to have a very few amount of people to be there. Whereas, like, everyone's like, why don't they just Rainbow Six make a new game? I'm like, well, I think they're doing a good job right now because, yes, Rainbow Six has always been slightly buggy and not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. But, like, this last season, the season that just came out, like, they're doing such a good job. Like, the new ping system is so good. Like, it completely transforms like the game.
Is
like,
it Apex's ping system?
Basically, so like because I think like isn't it in Apex you can like just like ping the ground and that'll be like that's a location.
Yep.
Yeah. So basically, while you're in drone, you can ping. You can yellow ping. It's not even red. Like you don't have to scan anymore. Like you can just like get it. Like so you could have someone be strictly a droner for your entry fragger who can then like just drone ahead, mark someone. They won't know that they're being marked unless they've seen a drone, and they can get completely blindsided. And I think that that's incredible for the attackers because attackers have always been at a disadvantage in that game because it's always been this defender-sided. But yellow pings for both defenders and attackers because even on like cams that are on defense, like they can now ping, like they can ping like, hey, they're over there, and not red ping to like let them know that they've been spotted. And so it completely transforms the game so that you can now, instead of just having like these vague call-outs like, oh, they're over there to the right, it's like... They're literally directly on the spot. And on top of that, they've now, like, whenever you load into a game, you get a random number 1 through 5. So now you say, like, it's on my ping. Let's say you're number 1. Your yellow 1, it'll be a 1 in your yellow ping. Good. Like, so it's... So instead of... Because, like, you could have... Like, before, it was, like, everyone could ping at the same time, and no one would know, like, who pinged what. But now it's, like, if everyone pinged at the same time, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, everyone has a ping.
That's dope.
And
That's
now,
smart.
like, attackers now have hard breaching tools, which the hard breaching tool is basically a tiny thermite charge. It opens up a square in a like reinforced wall that's just big enough that you can like shoot through, and you can enter through that. So, like, let's say like your team like just did not want to play thermite or anything like that, or Hibana or anything like that. They can now like bring that hard breaching tool so that they can have a way to enter an objective through hard.
Just one person on that team has that.
No, so it's, you know how, like, attackers can have gadgets, like, they can have frag grenades, claymores, breach charges, flashbangs.
Oh, it's one, okay, gotcha.
One of those.
It's one of
those gadgets, so you can, like, and it's only one of them, you're not getting 2, you're just getting 1. And it can be, like, bandit tricks, like, let's say that, like, someone's putting it, and a bandit on the enemy team hears it, they can, like, run to the wall, put the battery down, and destroy it. So it's not, like, it's not foolproof.
Gotcha.
But it just helps it so that you can have...
I feel like that makes thermite irrelevant.
Thermite still is the best hard breacher in the game because
Okay.
he opens up a wall that's so freaking big, like a Monty can go through it, like because Monty is still really really good for bomb at least because you can have like a really like a fast push into an objective. Like if you get rid of like one wall and objective and your entire team just pushes through behind a Monty, like it's because like again it's just like you're having a huge wall that you're able to like just completely like stand up walk through. You don't have to be crouched or like vault, so you don't have to like worry about like having to re-ADS versus just like walking within ADS simply to make it easy for, cause it's just the best hard breacher.
Okay.
But in terms of like an MMORPG, so my dream FPS game is basically where Rainbow Six Siege is going. I'm sorry, I'm very long-winded.
It's fine. I literally did the same thing like 2 seconds ago.
I really like WoW, but I really wish WoW like was less grindy, and I wish there was more content and ways for people to like play the content that's already in the game. Because right now it's kind of in a position where it's like you have to constantly be grinding reputations, you have to be like grinding your gear, and raids don't even reset until a week later.
Yeah.
Like I wish that there was like a better replayability to World of Warcraft, but I don't know the answer to that question because like I'm just now getting back into the game, and like I remember enjoying WoW, but like I'm just sitting here and I'm just like I'm not really having fun. It's like I remember having fun, so that's why I'm back.
Yeah.
But like I want to know what would make it better because right now it just feels like there's so much grinding for no end. Like you're playing the game to play it, but you're not really getting anything out of it.
That's a lot of games right now.
Yeah.
That's the reason I haven't been like super keen on playing Warframe right now, because that is that game. It is just grinding. Like you grind. It's super fun game. It's like you want a power fantasy kind of game. That is it for you. Like it's awesome, but I think what the difference is, because what's awesome is just like you and WoW. I remember back in the day when I first played the game. I remember having so much fun with it, and then as I'm trying to play it now, I'm just like, why am I not having as much fun? And I think the answer is I had way more time back then.
Yeah.
And I don't now. So
I think that is part of it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like I'm coming back to the game because they announced that they're going to be doing something that's similar to what happened during Wrath of the Lich King, which I don't know if you were there for it, which the pre-patch for Wrath of the Lich King, they had the Scourge invasion, where it was like in all the capital cities they had like a disease, and that's what they now like they use as, like a thought project about like, but that's what they think about like whenever they're talking about like contagious diseases nowadays, where it was like,
it's like, remember WoW?
Yeah. It was like you would catch a disease, you would have like an incubation timer, and then you would turn into an undead who could infect other people, and then like people would log out, save the disease. And there was like the blood plague of Hakar that people would bring into major cities as well.
I remember those videos are hilarious.
Yeah. And so like they're recreating that event for the pre-patch of Shadowlands, which that's in, I think, a week or 2 weeks is when that's going to be hitting live servers, because I think the new Shadowlands game is coming out on the 26th, but it's going to, pre-patch comes out 2 weeks before, so that's when that event is going to like kick off. And
is that
so
today?
Huh?
Is that the October 26th?
October 26th.
Okay, I was like,
yeah, I'm like, it's out right now.
Just leave.
No, but it's coming out October 26th, and I'm really, really excited for it, because like I wasn't there for that one, and it's probably me a watered down version of the first one.
I'm sure, because like it was pretty like game debilitating. Like you couldn't play.
Luckily, though, like there's now like auction houses and stuff in like Shatrath, which is in a completely different world that you could just hide in a different
I'm gonna
city.
be here for
like just waiting for the disease to be over. It's like, is it done? Is everyone dead?
No.
But because like the game, the concept of the new expansion is you playing in the afterlife, so they're gonna have to have a reason why everyone's dying and dead. So
cool.
I think their pre-patch is kind of like their explanation as to like officially why we're going to Shadowlands. Is like everyone dies.
Everyone's dead.
Everyone dies. But I just want like a more content focused and less grinding content focused, like being able to like have more raids and stuff that you could like play in like PvP, like being able to like I have always wanted to do a raid on the enemy faction city, but no one ever wants to ever fucking do it. I'm like, I just want to kill the Alliance. God, just please.
That's what Amazon made an MMO called New World, and I got into like the closed alpha or whatever of that thing, and I played that, and the whole appeal of that was like the big thing. Like there were these big sieges between the different factions in the game. I was like, that looks cool, I want to do that. And then I got into the alpha, didn't get to do that at all, and I was just like, well, what was the point? I spent $30 on this. Like I wanted to do this. Like that's why I got this game.
And it's like every time I always like I go into like looking for a group, and I try to like set up a group to just like, because we're probably gonna end up dying anyway. It doesn't matter. I just want to have my chance at like, because the thing that's really cool about it though, whenever you attack the enemy like faction leader, is that they have raid mechanics. Like it's like a ginormous raid boss that you're gonna need like 40, 50, 60 people to kill, because like the faction leaders like have like, let's just for the sake of argument, they have like 200 health. Everyone in the game has like maximum like 50.
Yeah.
In comparison to that. So like there's a huge margin of difference, and like they have legitimate raid mechanics that happen like when you're attacking them, and it's like, I just want to try and kill them. Just let me get everyone. Come on, let's go. I just want to kill them. like even if we lose, I just want to try. It's so much fun. And I remember like getting just dicked on by people like attacking the capital cities, and I'm just like, I never
got to do this.
I never got to dick on other people. I just got dicked on. I hate it. But yeah, just less grinding, more content, more fun.
That's the reason why I play so many different games, is because like what you're describing, I have played a game where that's the game. Just those big wars. It's called Conqueror's Blade, if I remember correctly. Free to play game. I think it's free. It might not be free.
Maybe not.
Whatever.
Who knows?
But like that's the premise of the game is like, it's like you and some absurd number. Like I think it's like you and like 30 other players versus another 30 other players, and each of those players have like a little AI squadron around you. Mm-hmm. So it's these huge, massive battles, like where you're literally like, okay, we need to break the gate, and in order to do that, we have these trebuchets. So like you would send your team like they're lobbing.
Trebuchet.
Yeah.
Get the trebuchet. Get the trebuchet.
It's like that's actually a lot of the chat in the game is people just typing that in caps. But like that's the thing that sucks is like while they may have that one thing that's really cool, everything else about the game is kind of like meh. So like I don't know.
I just find it funny that the expansion that we're currently in, or about to be ending, is called Battle for Azeroth, and no one ain't battling for Azeroth.
No,
I'm just saying, dog.
Oh man, I think we should call it there.
Yeah,
this has been awesome. It's been super fun. I think I didn't realize you had like a creative writing background. So now that I know that, there's been the idea of like doing like I said it before, like the whole writer's room thing. I don't know if you'd be interested in doing that at some point down the line, but maybe if you are, by all means, you're more than welcome back.
Yeah,
you're more than welcome back for just a regular podcast if you want to. This is fun. But yeah, I don't do like an outro thing. Like I just say, hey, thanks for watching, and then I cut it somewhere for YouTube and for Spotify. Before I do any of that, though, do shout out all your stuff. I don't know if people know your Twitch and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I basically have been trying to stream pretty daily, like pretty much every other day. I'm still trying to figure out a schedule because I'm about to start my master's program, so I'm kind of up in the air on that. But my Twitch is PeptoAbysmal, PeptoAbysmal
I'm gonna try to type in the chat here.
_.
If my commands still work, this is going to be great. Let's see if it works.
Can we get it? ABYSMAL. And then _.
That's it?
Yeah.
Yay, it works.
Hey,
awesome.
there we go. But that's my Twitch. Red Wolf got it too.
Yeah.
My Twitter is _PeptoAbysmal, so it's the reverse of that.
Other way.
And those are like my two main forms of like things that I've been like reaching out to people on. That's like your main way to get in contact with me. I like to share my other socials like through those two. So if you ever just want to find me on more stuff, probably reaching out to me on Twitter or Twitch is gonna be your best way to like snag me, because I'm like always doing something that's totally important, and I'm always never having free time. I never have free time. What is free time? We don't know her.
Yeah, you get the free time later.
Yeah. Later, when you're dead.
When you're dead, yeah. Thanks again. I'm gonna call it a night. This was fun. I don't. You know what you're supposed to do on YouTube and stuff. Subscribe, follow, do all that stuff.
Do the like,
do the like, hit buttons.
Exactly.
You know.
Stay awesome. Stay positive. Stay gaming.
Stay gaming.